And we're back. What's up, dude buddy guy? I'm Jaden Kuhlman, and welcome back to Mid Reviews. We'll see how well that title ages. Alternative rock sophisticates Queens of the Stone Age are back after a 6-year hiatus with a follow-up to the raw and skeletal Villains from 2017. I had a Queens obsession back in 2020, but with no new material in the foreseeable future, I quickly lost steam. In preparation for this album, I've been trying to get my tolerance back up by revisiting their discography, and it's been quite a trip. I think comparing listening to Queens to doing drugs is what they would have wanted. A wise man once told me, every Queens of the Stone Age album is a concept album, and the concept is doing drugs in the desert. Track 1 is Obscenery, and you'll notice this is the first Queens album in a long time that we aren't greeted with a slow, ponderous intro to ease us in. Abstract lyrics? Check. Distorted guitar and bass? Check, check. Man, it's good to be back. Paper Machete gives us hints of Little Sister in the riff and second verse. This and the following track really dig into the trenches of Hami's mind, detailing the feelings of loss and detachment that have prevented him from making music all this time. It's on Negative Space that he pleads for familiarity and a restored sense of trust in people. It's complete with some of the most dark and dismal lyrics of the band's career. Carnavoyuer makes for one of the most accessible and instrumentally complex cuts on the album, with some grandiose synth work, my favorite being the Moog synth that comes in towards the end of the track. It's at this point in the album that I began to wonder if it's ever going to let up sonically. Where's the lighter, catchier break of a Make It With You, or the subdued ambient relief of a track like The Vampire of Time and Memory? You're not going to get that here. The album doesn't let up for a second. It's not an inherently bad characteristic to stay in one sound, but those changes in dynamics made for much more well-rounded Queens albums previously. It's a lot like Songs for the Deaf in that regard, but not nearly as fully dedicated to maintaining the wall of sound. I mean, how could you be? The vocal performances are solid throughout as Hami delivers his vicious full register and angelic falsetto. Somehow his voice has not aged in 6 years, let alone 25, which is not an easy feat for being in hard rock bands 75% of your life. The tracks on the album never overstay their welcome, and each one delivers something new and ear-catching, whether it be the lead guitar on the chorus of Negative Space or the grooviest of bass lines throughout Obscenery. My favorite being the metallic opening notes of Time and Space, and I love how you can't quite anticipate where the beat's going to come in upon first listen. It's a lot like Sex on Fire in that way. The weakest track on the album has to be the closer, Straight Jacket Fitting, a tedious and sluggish 9-minute conclusion to an otherwise strong batch of tracks. At the end, we're greeted with an early Pink Floyd-esque acoustic outro, which is finally the break I'd been looking for, but is inevitably too little too late. In conclusion, this is another welcomed entry into the impressively consistent catalog of a band who's never put out a bad album. It's a more focused and infinitely darker follow-up to their last, but doesn't quite reach the glory or memorability of those that came before it. I give this album a light 7. It's great to have the boys back. I'm Jaden Kuhlman. This has been Mid Reviews, and I will see you real soon.